Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into the incredibly precise and surprisingly scientific world of professional cookery.
That's right, and it's fascinating. Forget just recipes.
Yeah, exactly. We're drawing insight.
Hello, you're listening Tastos Podcast. Please subscribe.
All right, listen up.
And the aim is to give you a genuine shortcut.
A shortcut to understanding those hidden principles, the things that make top kitchens, tick.
Make them not just functional, but truly exceptional.
Yeah.
You're about to uncover how master chefs command everything.
Everything. Like what?
Like the invisible flow of a bustling kitchen, right through to the intricate chemistry that keeps our food both delicious and crucially safe.
Okay.
We'll explore why meticulous planning is just as critical as, say, the perfect seasoning.
Right. Revealing secrets that go far beyond your typical home cooking experience.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What does it really take to run a professional kitchen?
Well, it's a complex dance, really. Efficiency and control.
And it starts way before you even chop an onion, right? It's the space itself.
Exactly. How the space is designed and operated. The blueprint, if you like.
The blueprint. And that demands something called a linear workflow.
Precisely. That's not just jargon. It's fundamental. It prevents chaos and, critically, cross-contamination.
Okay, so picture a straight line.
Yeah, basically. Goods come in, delivery, then storage, prep, cooking, holding.
Hot holding, like keeping soup hot.
Right, hot holding and then serving. This flow keeps raw stuff safely away from cooked food.
Keeps things moving smoothly, minimizes risk, maximizes efficiency.
You got it.
And in bigger kitchens, you see zoned preparation areas within that flow.
Absolutely. Think about vegetable prep. Lots of water, potentially messy, needs good drainage.
Okay.
Now contrast that with pastry prep.
Yeah.
Meticulous, dry. You definitely don't want water or dirt near your puff pastry.
Right, totally different needs. So separating them is like non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Purpose-built spaces, and kitchen design itself is always evolving.
How so? What are the current trends?
Well, in restaurants and hotels, you're seeing more buffet and self-service units, less formal, maybe less emphasis on traditional luxury.
Making more accessible.
Yeah, perhaps. And banqueting. Big shift towards plated service over the old-style silver service.
Faster for large groups. More consistent.
Exactly. Optimizing for speed and consistency. Fast food, too. Whole new concepts popping up. Specialized chicken, seafood.
More ethnic food choices, too, I've noticed.
Definitely. And this adaptability is crucial for places running around the clock, like hospitals or big factories.
How's that?
Well, they can use adaptable equipment, close down whole sections during quiet times, saves a fortune on heating, lighting, maintenance.
Ah, clever. So the layout impacts efficiency.
Efficiency, communication between departments, the quality of the food.
And safety. Always safety.
Above all, safety.
That's fascinating how the physical space dictates so much. But let's zoom out a bit. The broader industry landscape, what are we talking about here?
Okay, well, broadly you have hospitality, which is sort of the friendly treatment of guests' accommodation.
The welcoming part.
Right, and then catering, which is specifically providing the food and drink facilities.
Got it. And the sectors.
Two main ones. First, the commercial sector. These guys operate for profit.
So hotels, restaurants, cafes, fast food.
Bars, pubs, clubs, events, tourism, all that.
Right. And the other sector.
That's the public service sector, sometimes called the cost sector or secondary service sector.
Traditionally nonprofit, like schools, hospitals.
Exactly. Schools, colleges, hospitals, armed services, prisons. But here's an interesting shift.
Oh.
A lot of these are now actually run for profit by big commercial companies. Think Compass, Sodexo.
Really? So public services outsourced to private companies?
Pretty much. There's also what's called the primary service sector. That's hospitality within big corporate businesses.
Like the canteen at a big bank or a law firm?
Precisely. And just to give you a sense of scale, in the UK alone, we're talking around 181,500 businesses in hospitality, leisure, travel, and tourism. The restaurant industry is the biggest chunk of that. Estimated value, around 90 billion.
90 billion.
Yeah, it's the fifth largest sector of the UK economy. A massive employer.
That's a huge economic footprint. And I bet the legal and business structures behind all this are just as varied.
Oh, absolutely. This is another one of those hidden principles. The structure isn't just paperwork.
It affects risk, right?
Hugely. The simplest is a sole trader. You're the owner, you take all the risks, personally liable for losses.
But you keep all the profits.
Right. Minimal formal records needed, usually just for tax and national insurance.
Okay.
Partnership. 2 or more owners. Similar liability, generally all partners can be responsible for all debts.
So still quite exposed personally.
Can be, though you can have limited liability partners. They just invest money, don't actively manage.
Ah, okay. Less risk for them.
Exactly. Then you get limited liability companies. These are incorporated under the company's acts.
And the key word there is limited.
Limited liability, yes. The owner's personal assets are protected. Their liability is limited to their share value.
Much safer personally, but more complex.
More complex, yes. More regulations, public documents required.
And the last one, franchises.
Franchises, yeah. You pay a fee to use an established brand name, like McDonald's or Subway.
So you buy into a known system and brand recognition.
Exactly. Powerful draw for customers. The big takeaway here, these structures dictate if your own savings are on the line if things go wrong.
A crucial decision, miles away from choosing herbs, but just as vital.
Absolutely vital to the business surviving.
Okay, it's clear the business side is just as complex as the cooking. Which brings us nicely to mastering the essentials beyond the plate, costing and control. Why is knowing your exact costs so important?
Because without it, you're flying blind financially. It's your kitchen's GPS.
GPS, how so?
Knowing exact costs tells you your actual net profit. It flags where you can save money, stores, labor, ingredients.
Helps you set prices.
Informs your pricing strategy, definitely. And helps you give quick, accurate quotes for functions or events.
Makes sense. And even how you buy stuff is strategic.
Oh, yeah. There's informal buying, direct to suppliers, maybe daily prices, good for small amounts, but prices fluctuate.
Okay.
Versus formal buying. This involves written specifications, set quantities, usually for larger long-term contracts. Prices are generally more stable.
And that ties into standard purchasing specifications. What are those exactly?
There's super detailed descriptions for every single item you buy.
Like?
Quality, grade, weight, size, how it should be prepped, even the variety, maturity, color, shape. Precision is everything.
Wow, that's specific.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is why accurate weighing and measuring in the kitchen is non-negotiable.
For consistency, portion size.
Consistency, standard portions, quality control, and crucially cost control. You know exactly what goes into each dish.
Right. And then there's the battle against waste, preparation and cooking losses.
Constant battle, common causes, poor purchasing decisions, maybe buying too much or the wrong quality, incorrect storage.
Or just, well, clumsy prep skills.
Poor preparation skills, exactly. All this hits your yields, your portion control. It's literally, as we say, throwing money in the bin.
Ouch. So how do costs break down, typically?
You've got your food and materials.
Uh-huh.
These are variable costs. They go up or down depending on how busy you are.
Okay.
Then labor can be variable for part-time or casual staff, but fixed for permanent salaried staff.
Right.
And finally, overheads. These are your fixed costs.
Oh.
Things like rent, utilities, insurance. They generally stay the same regardless of business volume.
So it's a constant balancing act, variable food costs versus fixed overheads.
Always a financial tightrope.
Fascinating. But speaking of risk, the stakes get even higher when we talk safety, because what good is a delicious meal if it isn't safe, right?
Absolutely paramount. No compromise here.
So let's pivot to maybe the most critical principle, rigorous food safety and hygiene. In the UK, there are specific laws.
Yes, food safety laws from 2006, enforcing EU legislation. They mandate approved food safety management systems.
Meaning every food business has to.
Has to register with their local authority, has to cooperate fully with environmental health officers, the EHOs.
The inspector.
The inspectors, yes. And they have to implement proper food safety practices throughout the operation.
And there's this concept of due diligence. What's that?
It's essentially your legal defense. Proof.
Proof of what?
Proof that you took all reasonable care to prevent food safety problems. So if, God forbid, a customer gets sick and it goes to court,
you need evidence.
You need the evidence. Those accurate written records, pest control reports, staff training logs, daily temperature checks for fridges and freezers. That's your due diligence.
Okay. And for smaller places, is there help?
Yes. The Food Standards Agency has a system called Safer Food, Better Business. It's designed to be a user-friendly approach based on HACCP principles. Hazard analysis, critical control point. It's a systematic way to identify and control food safety hazards. Safer Food, Better Business simplifies it for smaller operations.
User-friendly sounds good. But is it really easy for, say, a tiny cafe owner juggling everything, or it's still a big hurdle?
It's definitely designed to be much simpler than implementing a full, complex HACCP plan. It gives clear, actionable steps, focusing on the most common risks.
So it demystifies it a bit?
It aims to, yes. But it still requires diligence. You still have to do the work and keep the records.
Right. So even with planning, contamination can happen. How does food actually become unsafe? What are these invisible threats?
Well, there are 4 main contamination routes, but the big one, the most dangerous, is biological or microbial contamination.
Bacteria.
Pathogenic bacteria, yes. The silent, invisible ones that cause illness. And the scary part is how fast they multiply.
How fast?
Through something called binary fission. One bacterium splits into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, doubling every 10 to 20 minutes in the right conditions. Start with 1, and in a few hours, you can have millions.
Wow.
So time is absolutely critical. You have to stop them before they form spores.
Spores! Like protective shells.
Exactly. And spores are incredibly tough, resistant to heat and drying. Other biological nasties include viruses, yeasts, mold, spoilage bacteria, even enzymes causing breakdown.
Okay, that's biological. What else?
Chemical contamination, accidental. Cleaning fluids, disinfectants, machine oil, pesticides getting into food.
Or even reactions.
Yeah, like acidic foods reacting with certain metal containers. Then there's physical contamination.
Things that shouldn't be there.
Exactly. Glass shards, nuts and bolts from equipment, hair, plastic fragments. And finally, naturally occurring poisons. Less common kitchen accidents, but real risks.
Like what?
Toxins in some oily fish or shellfish. Undercooked red kidney beans contain a toxin. Poisonous mushrooms, obviously. Even rhubarb leaves or daffodil bulbs if mistaken for onions.
Goodness. And dangerous molds. Different from cheese mold.
Oh, yes. Some molds produce dangerous mycotoxins. Very different from the safe penicillium molds in blue cheese.
Genuinely terrifying. So if bacteria multiply that fast, what's the simplest first line of defense for a chef?
Temperature control. It's fundamental. There's a critical danger zone for bacterial growth.
Which is?
Between 5 degrees Celsius and 63 degrees Celsius. That's roughly 41 to 145 Fahrenheit.
And the sweet spot for them?
Peak activity is around 37 degrees C human body temperature. Ideal for them.
So the strategy is avoid that zone.
Completely. Keep hot food hot above 63 degrees C. Or cool cold food down quickly and store it cold below 5 degrees C.
And the speed is key. Rapid heating and cooling.
Absolutely crucial. Slow cooling allows time for those dangerous spores to form and potentially germinate later if the food re-enters the danger zone.
Got it. So temperature is king, but storage is vital too, right? Your silent partner.
Could have said it better.
Yeah.
Proper storage is critical. General rules. Remove food from outer packaging, like cardboard boxes, straight away on delivery. Boxes can carry pests or dirt. Check deliveries carefully before accepting them.
Okay. And for chilled or frozen?
Wrap it well or use proper lidded containers. Label everything clearly what it is when it was stored. Those color-coded day dots are brilliant for rotation.
Day dots.
Yeah, simple stickers, Monday blue, Tuesday yellow, etc. Make stock rotation visual and easy. And always record fridge and freezer temperatures daily. Keep that log.
What about specific tricky items like fish?
Fish is very delicate. Shelf life is only about 10-12 days, and that's only if kept perfectly chilled between 0 and 4 degrees C.
0 degrees. Almost freezing.
Almost. Whole fish needs gutting, rinsing, catting dry. Stored on a clean tray, blue is often used for fish in a dedicated fish fridge if possible, at 1-2 degrees C.
Or at the bottom of a regular fridge.
Bottom of a multi-use fridge, yeah, between 1-4 degrees C. Always covered, labeled, and crucially, cooked fish, always stored above raw fish, never the other way around.
To prevent drips and cross-contamination?
Exactly. Frozen fish, keep it solid at -18 to -23 degrees C. Defrost it slowly overnight in the fridge.
Never in water.
Never under running water or at room temperature. It ruins the texture, washes out nutrients, and absolutely never refreeze thawed fish.
Okay. Smoked fish needs extra care too.
Yeah, wrap it really well. That strong, smoky smell can permeate everything else in the fridge.
So many rules. And I heard cooked rice is particularly tricky too.
It really is. Cooked rice carries a specific risk from Bacillus cereus spores. These can survive cooking.
So reheating is risky.
It's generally not advisable in a professional setting. If cooked rice isn't eaten immediately, you have 2 safe options. Keep it piping hot above 65 degrees C for no more than 2 hours. Or cool it down incredibly quickly, ideally within 90 minutes, and then store it cold, below 5 degrees C.
90 minutes from hot to cold, that's fast.
Super fast cooling is essential. And these same strict time and temperature rules apply to other cooked grains as well.
And cooked vegetables.
Store them chilled at 5 degrees C, always separate from raw vegetables to prevent any cross-contamination.
It feels like the most impactful safety measure might just be the people handling the food. Personal hygiene.
Absolutely. It's the first line of defense. The standards are strict, and rightly so.
Like what? Daily showering. Clean clothes?
Daily bathing or showering, yes. Impeccably clean hair, fully contained under a hat or net. Clean kitchen clothing that completely covers personal clothes.
Nails. Jewelry.
Short, clean nails. No varnish, no false nails. They harbor bacteria. No jewelry or watches at all when handling food.
Not even a wedding ring.
A plain wedding band might be permitted in some places, but it's still a risk. Bacteria can get trapped underneath. Best practice is none.
And things you just don't do in food areas.
Strictly prohibited.
Yeah.
Smoking, chewing gum, eating or drinking. And irregular or poor hand washing is a huge no-no.
Especially after using the toilet.
Especially then. Meticulous hand washing after every single toilet visit is non-negotiable. Proper technique, soap, hot water, drying thoroughly.
Beyond personal habits, what about managing chemicals and pests? There are rules for chemicals, right? COSH?
Yes, COSH, Control of Substances, Hazardous to Health Regulations, 2002. Employers must assess the risks of any hazardous chemicals used.
And provide.
Provide training on safe use, appropriate PPE, personal protective equipment like goggles, gloves, masks. Ensure chemicals are stored correctly.
How's that?
Original containers, tightly sealed lids away from heat sources, and crucially, never mix different chemicals. Staff need to know first aid for exposure and safe disposal methods.
Okay. And pests? A kitchen's nightmare, I imagine?
Complete nightmare. Signs are varied. Actually seeing or hearing them, dead or alive, droppings, unpleasant smells, pupa cases, larvae.
If not packaging,
Yep.
damaged stock.
Odd wires or packaging, food spillages that attract them, damaged stock, greasy smear marks along walls, holes in structures.
So how do you keep them out?
It's multi-layered.
Yeah.
Good building design, ceiling holes, proper drains, quick repairs to any damage, screens or nets on windows and doors.
Doors should be self-closing.
Self-closing, yeah, with metal kick plates at the bottom and bristle strips to seal the gap. Checking deliveries thoroughly before they come inside.
What about traps or poisons?
Physical traps or chemical baits can be used, but usually by a licensed pest control contractor. Electronic fly killers are common, but never position them above food prep areas.
Right. And basic housekeeping.
Essential. Keep food in sealed containers, check storage areas regularly, manage outside waste, properly bins sealed, area clean, and often using professional pest management service is the best approach.
Okay, we've covered invisible threats like bacteria and pests, but what about more immediate physical dangers? Accidents.
A huge area of focus. Accidents generally fall into 3 categories based on cause. Occupational, so work-related tasks.
Like using a slicer?
Exactly. Environmental, relating to the surroundings, slippery floors, poor lighting.
Okay.
And human factors, someone's actions, maybe rushing or not following procedures.
And prevention is key.
Prevention is everything.
Yeah.
Prior planning and preparation for tasks. Practicing procedures. Listening to feedback from staff. Personal reflection. Learning from near misses.
What about something common like lifting heavy boxes?
Safe lifting and carrying technique is vital. First, assess the load. Is it big, heavy, awkward shape, hot, cold, slippery?
Then get help if needed.
Get help, or use equipment like trolleys. Reduce the load if possible, unpack heavy boxes into smaller ones. Consider the environment. Is the floor wet? Is it well lit? Use PPE if needed, like padded jackets for carrying frozen goods.
And the actual technique.
Straight back, never stoop. Feet apart for balance. Bend at the knees, not the waist. Get a firm grip. Hold the load close to your body. Check your root is clear. Lower it carefully, bending your knees again. Sounds basic, prevents serious back injuries.
Very important. And fire. Always a risk in kitchens.
Huge risk. Remember the fire triangle. You need heat, fuel, and oxygen for a fire.
And kitchens have all 3 in abundance.
Exactly. Main causes: faulty electrical equipment, gas leaks, careless smoking, unattended hot liquids or oils, equipment with naked flames like gas hobs.
And firefighting equipment, not just any extinguisher, right?
Definitely not. Standard water type extinguishers you might see in corridors are a definite no in kitchens.
Because of oil and electrics?
Precisely. Water on a fat fire or electrical fire is disastrous. Kitchens need specific types: carbon dioxide, CO2, dry powder, or specialist ret chemical extinguishers designed for cooking oil fires. And only trained staff should use them.
Right. And if a serious accident does happen, reporting.
Yes, under the Rid-Door Act, 1996, reporting of injuries, diseases, and dangerous occurrences regulations.
Catchy name.
Yeah. But important. It mandates that serious work-related accidents, specific occupational diseases, and certain dangerous occurrences or near misses must be legally recorded and reported to the Health and Safety Executive, the HSE.
So it's not just internal paperwork, it's official reporting.
It is. It's about learning lessons and preventing future harm across the industry. Accountability.
Okay, wow. So we've covered the meticulous planning, the rigorous safety protocols, all the essential groundwork. But now let's get to the exciting part, the food. How do chefs actually transform raw ingredients?
Well, before we dive into specific ingredients, chefs also need a solid grasp of basic nutrition.
Why is that so important for a chef?
Because caterers have a huge influence on what people eat. Understanding nutrients helps create balanced, healthy, appealing menus. And the core principle:
Let me guess, variety.
variety. No single food provides everything. You need balance across the main nutrient groups, which are carbohydrates for energy, sugars, starches, and importantly, fiber. Fiber is great for digestion, helps lower cholesterol, reduces stroke risk. Pro tip: use wholemeal breadcrumbs instead of white. Simple swap, big fiber boost.
Nice tip. What else?
Proteins essential for growth and repair. From animal sources like meat and fish, or vegetable sources like beans and lentils. Then fats, vitamins, minerals, and of course water.
And the chef's role is making healthy food desirable.
Exactly. Making healthy eating exciting and appealing. Customer trends are shifting that way anyway, plus there are legal requirements sometimes, like minimum nutritional standards in schools or workplace catering contracts.
You mentioned antioxidants too.
Yeah, found in fruits and vegetables. They're like the body's little protectors, help lower risk of heart disease, cancer, diabetes damage, even slow down aging. Good stuff.
Great overview. But building on that, modern kitchens face a huge challenge. Special diets, allergies, intolerances. It seems much more complex now.
It is, and it's critically important. First, you need to distinguish between a food intolerance,
which causes discomfort, like cramps.
Right, maybe stomach cramps, diarrhea, unpleasant, but not involving the immune system, versus a true food allergy.
Which is an immune system response, potentially life-threatening.
Exactly. Anaphylaxis is a severe allergic reaction. And here's the game-changer insight. Since late 2014, EU regulations, which the UK adopted, mandate clear information on 14 specific allergens.
14 specific ones.
Yes. And the crucial part isn't just listing them. It's that vague warnings like may contain nuts are no longer sufficient. It forces kitchens to be incredibly precise and transparent.
That's a massive shift in responsibility. Puts the pressure squarely on the kitchen.
It does. The 14 allergens include the obvious ones: gluten cereals, crustaceans, eggs, fish, peanuts, soy, milk, nuts.
Specific nuts?
Yes, almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts, pecans, Brazil nuts, pistachios, cashews, macadamias. Also celery, mustard, sesame seeds, sulfur dioxide or sulfites.
Found in wine and dried fruit.
Often, yes. And lupin and mollusks like mussels and oysters.
Wow. How do kitchens communicate this?
Various ways. Bolding ingredients on menus, using contrasting colors, underlining, or clear advice statements like, please inform staff of any allergies.
And preventing accidental exposure. You mentioned the 5 C's.
Yes, a good framework. First, C, content. Read ingredient labels meticulously. Malt vinegar, for example, contains barley, unsuitable for someone with celiac disease.
Okay.
Second, contact. Avoid even trace amounts. Wear clean gloves, wash hands frequently, use separate chopping boards and utensils, maybe even have dedicated net-free prep zones.
Third C.
Contamination. Assess your work practices. Could preparing a dairy dish contaminate the mixer used for a dairy-free one? Maybe make the allergen-free item first. Don't reuse frying oil for fish if you also cook chips for someone allergic to fish.
Makes sense.
Fourth, cleaning. Thorough cleaning is vital. Or use separate equipment entirely. Simple soap and hot water are actually very effective at removing allergen traces.
And the last C.
Communication. Absolutely essential. Clear communication within the kitchen team and with front-of-house staff and ultimately with the customer builds confidence and ensures safety.
And you added a 6th C.
Yeah. Common sense. If you're unsure about an ingredient or a process, speak up. Don't guess.
Great advice. Okay, let's talk ingredients, the stars of the show, starting with proteins, meat, and poultry.
Right. Meat is generally edible animal flesh, often from animals like cattle, sheep, pigs, selectively bred over centuries for tender flesh.
And the science behind tenderness. You mentioned fat and connective tissue.
Yes. Meat has fat. Visible saturated fat should ideally be trimmed for health. And connective tissue. There are 2 main types.
Collagen and elastin.
Exactly. Collagen is a magic one. With slow, moist cooking, it breaks down into soft gelatin. That's what makes braised meats so tender.
Elastin.
Elastin is tough, yellowish, and doesn't break down with cooking. Chefs usually remove it, especially from prime cuts. Think of that tough gristle you sometimes find.
Got it. Any other factors? Enzymes?
Sometimes. Natural enzymes in meat help tenderize it during aging, and occasionally enzymes like papain from papaya might be used commercially to speed things up.
And cooking meat, it's about protein coagulation.
Yes. As the internal temperature rises, the proteins change structure and firm up, they coagulate. This process is pretty much complete around 77 degrees AV. Cooking it much beyond that often just dries it out and makes it tougher.
Hitting that sweet spot. What about specific cuts? Beef fillet.
A prime cut. A whole fillet might be 3 kilograms. From that, a chef can precisely cut a Chateaubriand that's a large, thick cut from the center, usually for 2 people, or individual fillet steaks, or smaller tornadoes, often tied with string to keep their shape.
On the ends?
The tail end is great slice for things like stroganoff or minced. No waste.
Lamb preparation, like a best end.
Preparing a best end of lamb, or rack of lamb, involves several steps. Removing the outer skin or bark, scoring the fat cap, pulling the meat slightly down the bones, Frenching the bones, removing that tough elastin layer, then tying the joint neatly for even cooking. It's precise work.
Okay, poultry. Sizes matter.
Hugely. A small duckling might feed 2 and roast quickly. A large 6-kilogram goose for Christmas dinner is a major undertaking. Takes hours, needs careful planning. Understanding yields and cooking times based on size is crucial.
And quality points for buying poultry.
Look for plump breasts. If it has feet, the webbing should tear easily, sign of a younger bird. The lower back should bend easily. Yellow feet and bill are often good signs too.
Roasting and carving.
Careful prep, often removing the giblets first, gizzard, heart, liver. Then precise carving techniques to maximize usable meat and present it nicely.
Preservation methods for meat and poultry, beyond freezing.
Oh yes. Salting or pickling in brine. Draws out moisture, inhibits bacteria. Used for corned beef, silverside, brisket, ox tongues, bacon, ham.
Smoking.
Smoking. Hot smoking cooks the meat while flavoring it. Cold smoking is more about preservation and flavor, but doesn't cook it through. Adds color too. Though there are liquid smoke alternatives now for flavor without potential carcinogens.
Pickling. Canning.
Pickling in acidic liquids like vinegar or wine. And canning is common for cooked poultry products.
Any healthy eating tips for classic meat dishes?
Sure. For steak pie, use little or no added salt, as things like Worcester sauce are salty. Use unsaturated oil for browning, drain off excess fat. Use a short crust pastry top rather than fully encasing it, less fat. Serve with plenty of veg.
Hamburgers. Goulash.
Hamburgers or Vienna steaks again. Unsaturated oil, drained fat, serve with carbs and veg. Goulash, add cream or yogurt right at the end to avoid splitting and reduce fat if possible. Shepherd's pie, drain fat well from the mince, top with mash, serve with veg.
Braised pork.
For roast leg of pork, rubbing salt well into the scored rind helps get that perfect crisp crackling. And always check the internal temperature, minimum 75 degrees C, for 2 minutes for pork to be safe.
Great tips. Now, moving from land to sea, fish and shellfish. Delicate delights, you called them.
They really are. And checking quality points when buying is absolutely paramount. Fish spoils quickly.
So for whole fish, eyes, gills.
Eyes should be clear, bright, bulging slightly, not sunken or cloudy. Gills bright red, not brownish. Scales should be firm, adhere tightly to the skin. Skin moist, slippery, shiny. Tail and fins should be stiff.
And the smell.
Fresh sea smell, a faint whiff of the ocean, absolutely no ammonia or unpleasant fishy odor. That's a definite warning sign.
What about fillets?
Neatly cut and trimmed. Flesh should be firm. Spring back when pressed gently. Translucent white for white fish. No browning or discoloration on the edges. Neatly packed.
Smoked fish, frozen fish.
Smoked fish.
Yeah.
Bright, glossy surface, firm flesh, pleasant smoky smell. Frozen fish should be frozen solid. No signs of thawing and refreezing. Packaging intact. No freezer burn, those dull white dry patches where it's dehydrated.
And common cuts, you mentioned darn, tronçons.
Yes. Depends on the fish shape. Darns are thick, bone-in slices cut across a round fish, like salmon or cod. Tronçons are similar thick, bone-in slices, but from large flatfish, like halibut or turbot.
Fillets and supremes.
Fillets are the flesh removed lengthways from the bones. Supremes are considered the prime cuts, usually boneless, skinless fillets, often cut neatly on an angle.
Fish preservation. Chilling, canning, freezing.
Chilling gives that 10-12-day shelf life at 0 to 4 degrees C. Canning is very common, especially for oily fish like salmon, tuna, sardines packed in oil, brine sauce, or just their own juice. And freezing, properly done at -18 to -23 degrees C, preserves fish very well.
And the defrosting rule again.
Slowly overnight in the fridge. Never water, never room temp, never refreeze.
Smoked fish needs extra wrapping for the smell. Got it. Health and safety specifics for fish.
Cross-contamination is a big risk. Unhygienic handling or dirty equipment spreads bacteria easily. Use dedicated chopping boards and knives for raw fish, often color-coded blue, or sanitize meticulously between uses.
E-hosts might be stricter sometimes.
Yes, environmental health officers might require higher final cooking temperatures for fish served to vulnerable groups, like the elderly or immunocompromised, just as an extra precaution.
And seasonality matters.
It does. Food quality can dip after spawning. They become watery, soft, known as spent fish. Chefs try to buy fish when they're in peak condition.
Common cooking methods. Frying.
Frying is hugely popular. Shallow frying works well for small whole fish, cuts like darns or tronçons, fillets, supremes. Season, maybe a light flour coating. Clarified butter is classic, but oil is often preferred now. Turn only once if possible. Steaming is excellent for delicate fish cuts. Simple seasoning, salt, pepper, maybe lemon or herbs. Cooks quickly, usually 10-15 minutes depending on thickness. Very healthy too.
Now shellfish. Prized, but tricky.
Very prized for their tender, fine-textured flesh. But they spoil even faster than finfish because of their amino acid composition. Buy live whenever possible.
How to store live shellfish.
In suitable containers, maybe covered with damp cloths or cling film, in a cold room or dedicated fish fridge, and cook them as soon as possible.
Classifications, crustaceans, bivalves.
Crustaceans have tough outer shells and jointed legs. Think crabs, lobsters, prawns, crayfish. Bivalves have a hinged two-part shell like mussels, oysters, clams, scallops.
Univalves, cephalopods.
Univalves have a single spiral shell, winkles, whelks, and cephalopods are the soft-bodied ones with an internal shell, or pin squid, octopus, cuttlefish.
Reservation for shellfish.
Often cooked very soon after catching, especially crabs and lobsters. Chilling, freezing, pickling like cockles. Vacuum packing, canning, smoking, like smoked mussels or oysters.
Cooking shellfish. Key principles.
They have fragile connective tissue, shorter muscle fibers than meat, and are generally low in fat. So minimal cooking is key, just until the protein coagulates.
Overcooking makes them
tough, rubbery, dry. A real shame. You also see that dramatic color change in crustaceans, like lobsters and crabs, from dull blue-gray to vibrant orangered. That's due to pigments called carotenoids being released by the heat.
Specific examples. Crayfish. Lobster.
Crayfish, or ecrevis, are small freshwater crustaceans. Lobster, mainly American, large claws, and European. Smaller claws, arguably finer flavor. They live on the seabed, grow slowly.
Mussels. Need careful prep.
Definitely. Discard any with broken shells, scrape off barnacles, pull out the tough fibrous byssus, thread the beard, wash them really well in several changes of cold water.
Cooking mussels.
Usually steamed open in a little liquid white wine, stock, cider. Takes just minutes. Discard any that don't open after cooking. Strain the cooking liquid makes a fantastic base for a sauce. Bivalves. Beautiful fan-shaped shells. Prized for the sweet white mussel and the orange coral, or roe. Sizes vary. Hand-dyed scallops are preserved for sustainability, avoid seabed damage from dredging. And again, crucial not to overcook. Sear quickly on high heat.
Professional tips for specific recipes. Goujons. Scallops. Langoustines.
Goujons, those fish strips, make sure they're well coated in breadcrumbs so they fry up crisp. Scallops use hand-dived if possible. Pat them completely dry before searing for a good crust. Don't overcrowd the pan. Cook very briefly. Langoustines, like small lobsters or large prawns, if poaching in a bouillon, let it simmer very gently. Don't boil fiercely. Cook just until they turn pink and curl. Minimal cooking is always the goal.
Fantastic. Okay, from the sea to the store cupboard staples. Rice, pasta, grains, and eggs, foundational ingredients. Rice first.
Huge. Main food for half the world's population. Needs that hot, wet climate. Around 250 main varieties, adding texture, flavor, carbohydrate.
Grain types. Long grain, short grain.
Long grain varieties like basmati, jasmine, American aromatic, japonica, they cook up firm, separate, less starchy. Medium grain like arborio classic for risotto, creamy texture. Short grain like sushi rice, sticky, clumps together. And brown rice, the whole grain. Unmilled, nuttier, more fiber.
Other rice products?
Rice flakes, rice flour, good for thickening some soups, even rice paper for spring roll.
Cooking rice absorbs water.
Very porous, absorbs lots of liquid.
Yeah.
Generally cook it al dente with a slight bite, unless you're making something like rice pudding or sushi where softness is desired. The starch it releases thickens the cooking liquid, key for risotto.
Cooking liquids. Methods.
Water is standard, but white stock, milk, or stock wine mix add flavor. Methods.
Yeah.
Boiling, steaming, frying like egg fried rice, stewing, risotto, braising, pilaf, even microwaving.
And that critical safety point again.
Yes, Bacillus cereus. Cooked rice shouldn't ideally be reheated. If not for immediate use, keep it hot, 65 degrees C, max 2 hours, or cool it super fast, 90 mins, and keep it cold, 5 degrees C.
Crucial.
Got it. Pasta, fillings,
Sauces.
endlessly versatile. Fillings. Mushroom duxelle, minced meats, ricotta and basil, fish forcemeat, even couscous with vegetables. Sauces. Classic tomato, creamy butter or bechamel based, rich meat ragu, simple olive oil and garlic, soft or blue and cheese sauces, pesto, endless options.
Prep and portions?
If making fresh pasta dough, mix in a large bowl. Always thorough hand washing or gloves. Dried pasta portion, around 80-100 grams per person for a starter, maybe 120-150 grams for a main.
Pro tips for cooking pasta.
Use plenty of rapidly boiling salted water. More water means the temperature doesn't drop much when you add the pasta, helps it cook evenly for better texture.
That adding oil to the water. Myth.
Total myth. Doesn't stop sticking, just makes the pasta oily so the sauce won't cling properly. Don't do it.
Making fresh egg pasta.
2 main ways. Combine flour, salt, eggs, maybe oil into a crumb mix, then knead and roll with a pasta machine. Or the traditional well method, make a well and flour salt on the counter, crack egg soil into the middle, gradually incorporate flour, knead until smooth and elastic, then rest the dough before rolling. Resting is important.
Okay, on to other grains. What is a grain exactly?
Technically, the edible fruit of cereal grasses. Each grain kernel has 3 parts. The bran, outer layers, high in fiber.
Yeah.
The endosperm, starchy middle part, most of the grain. And the germ, smallest part, but nutrient-rich B, vitamins, minerals, vitamin E.
Types and uses. Barley, wheat, oats.
Barley grows almost anywhere. Used whole, pot barley, pearled, bran removed, flakes, kernels, good alternative to rice or potatoes, great in stews. Malt extract comes from sprouted barley. Wheat, incredibly versatile. Flour for bread, cakes, pastry, also pasta, couscous, bulgur wheat, noodles. Oats, rolled oats for porridge, jumbo oats, oatmeal, oat bran.
Rye, millet, quinoa, spelt.
Rye, distinctive flavor, used for sourdough bread, crisp breads, rye flour. Millet, used for flour, porridge, cereals, and africacia. Quinoa, technically a seed, but used like a grain. High protein, complete amino acids, rare for plants. Must wash it well before cooking to remove bitter saponins. Spelt an ancient type of wheat. Nutty flavor, some find its gluten easier to digest.
Storing grains.
Whole intact grains last longest, up to 6 months cool and dry, maybe a year in the freezer. But whole grain flours and meals spoil faster because the oils in the drum can go rancid through oxidation. Only 1-3 months cool dry, 2 to 6 months frozen.
Holding cooked grains.
Same rule as rice, basically. Serve immediately or whole hot at 63 degrees C for max 2 hours, then discard. Safety first.
And eggs. The kitchen's ultimate multitasker.
Oh, absolutely. Binding ingredients together, enriching sauces, adding color, emulsifying.
Emulsifying, like in mayonnaise.
Exactly. The lecithin in the egg yolk is a powerful natural emulsifier, allowing oil and water, or vinegar lemon juice, to mix stably. Also great for aerating whipping egg whites for meringues or soufflé.
Egg structure. Shell, white, yolk.
Outer shell is calcium carbonate, porous but protected by a thin coating called the cuticle, inside membranes. Then the egg white, or albumin, thick and thin layers. Mostly protein and water, has some antibacterial properties, those little white stringy bits. Chalazate, yes. They anchor the yolk in the center. Totally edible. The yolk itself is high in saturated fat, but also a good source of protein, vitamins A, D, E, K, and iron.
Egg types. Quality. Sizes.
Organic eggs focus on free-range, sustainable practices. Hen's eggs in the UKU are graded by weight into 4 sizes. Small, medium, large, very large. Most recipes assume medium, which is around 50-60 G.
Quality points when buying.
Clean, well-shaped shell, strong, slightly rough texture, not smooth or shiny. Crack it open. High proportion of thick white that stands up, not watery. Yolk should be firm, round, sit high, even color.
Grades. Packaging.
Graded A, B, C. Only grade A sold fresh in shells to public. Wholesale eggs often come in boxes of 360 or 180, price per long 100, which is actually 120 eggs, dated for freshness.
The British Lion mark.
Yes, the British Lion Quality Code of Practice indicates highest UK food safety standards, including vaccination against salmonella for the hens.
Health and safety for eggs. Salmonella still a risk.
Less so with Lion Mark eggs, but still a consideration, especially for raw or lightly cooked preparations served to vulnerable people. Using pasteurized eggs removed from shell, heat-treated, is safer then. Always buy from reputable sources. Store below 20 degrees C. Room temp is okay, but cooler is better.
The egg uses are endless, right?
Endless. Breakfast, fried, scrambled, poached, boiled omelets. Lunch supper, quiches, Scotch eggs. Baking, Cakes, pastries, custards, desserts, mousses, meringues, creme brulee, even tiny quail's eggs used as garnishes or on canapes.
Pro tips for some egg staple recipes: pilaf, risotto, Scotch eggs.
Pilaf rice, cook for the exact time specified, then let it stand off the heat, covered, for grains to steam and separate perfectly. Stir-fried rice, always use cold, pre-cooked rice. Hot rice clumps. Risotto, add hot stock gradually, ladle by ladle, stirring constantly. Develops that creamy, slightly soupy, pudding-like consistency. Don't rush it. Scotch eggs for a slightly soft, jammy yolk rather than hard-boiled. Boil the eggs for around 7–9 minutes before cooling and wrapping.
Brilliant. And finally, to satisfy the sweet science of desserts and pastry, sugar syrups.
Essential in patisserie. Can be byproducts of sugar refining, like golden syrup or treacle, or made simply by dissolving sugar in water. The key is controlling the density and viscosity.
How do you measure that?
With specific tools. A refractometer measures sugar concentration on the Brick scale, sweetness. A hydrometer measures density on the Baumé scale. Precision tools for consistent results.
Ensuring caramels are crisp, sorbets smooth.
Exactly. Controlling sugar concentration prevents unwanted crystallization, affects texture and freezing points.
What about inverted sugar? Sounds complex.
It's basically sugar syrup that's been treated with acid or enzymes to break sucrose down into glucose and fructose. It has useful properties.
Like what?
Improves aroma and dough texture. Helps prevent frozen products drying out. Significantly reduces or stops sugar crystallization. And it's vital for making smooth ice cream, improves texture, and lowers the freezing point, keeping it scoopable.
Isomalt.
Most common. It's a sugar substitute, industrially produced. Used sometimes in sugarwork, confectionery, chewing gum, because it doesn't absorb moisture easily.
Raising agents. Giving things lightness.
Yes, substances added to mixtures to produce gas air, carbon dioxide from chemical agents like baking powder soda, or steam from water content.
And the gas gets trapped.
Expands when heated, gets trapped in the structure, often by the gluten in flour, causing the product to rise. Then it sets in that aerated structure. Think cakes, soufflés, bread.
Egg components again. Yolk and white in desserts.
Yolk brings richness, fat, color, emulsification, lecithin. White brings structure, aeration when whipped, protein, albumin, both vital.
Milk and cream.
Milk adds flavor, moisture, helps with browning, lactose sugar. Pasteurized milk generally tastes better than UHT. Lactic fermentation in milk products like buttermilk or yogurt adds flavor complexity. Cream is all about fat content.
Needs at least 18% fat. More for whipping.
Minimum 18% to be called cream. Needs over 30%, usually 35% whipping cream, or 48% plus double cream to whip well. Whipping incorporates air trapped by the fat globules.
Whip it cold. Store it carefully.
Whips much better when cold. And yes, cream absorbs odors really easily, so keep it covered and away from strong-smelling things like onions or fish in the fridge.
Key dairy terms: pasteurization, sterilization.
Pasteurization. Heat treating briefly to kill most harmful bacteria, extends shelf life, keeps flavor pretty well. Sterilization. Higher temperatures, much longer shelf life, but can affect flavor slightly. Homogenization. Breaking up fat globules so they stay evenly dispersed, stops cream separating out in milk. Lactic fermentation. Bacteria converting sugars, lactose, into lactic acid, like in yogurt or cheese making. Centrifuge. Machine spinning rapidly to separate substances by density, used to separate cream from milk.
Any other useful cream facts?
Yeah, the fact it whips is purely down to the fat content trapping air. Adds lovely texture and richness, and surprisingly, if you boil double cream, like for a ganache, and then chill it thoroughly, you can often still whip it later.
Fascinating stuff. So, reflecting on all this, what does it mean for you, our listener? Beyond just delicious food, we've seen just how much hidden work, precise science, and frankly, meticulous organization goes into making a professional kitchen truly tick.
Absolutely. From that carefully planned linear workflow right down to the molecular level of how protein coagulates or sugar crystallizes.
It's a world where every single detail matters, not just for flavor, but for health, safety, efficiency, everything that drives an exceptional dining experience.
Exactly. This deep dive has hopefully shed some light on those hidden depths of culinary mastery. It really shows how professional kitchens are this amazing blend of art, hard science, and rigorous discipline.
So considering everything we've unpacked today, from kitchen layouts and legal structures to allergen control and the science of sugar, what aspect of professional cookery or kitchen management do you think is most overlooked by home cooks? And how might understanding that one thing elevate your own everyday meals from just good to truly exceptional?